All right, let's go through a region by region breakdown of what we got coming up. I want to start with the West because I think that's the most interesting. Gonzaga survived. They take on Arkansas, who knocked off New Mexico State in one of the more hideous games of basketball I've ever watched. At the other side of that bracket, Duke is alive. They came back from 5 down to beat Michigan State, and Texas Tech survived Notre Dame in a game that was, again, not all that pretty. I'm going to go to you first on this one, Tio. Duke, I thought they were done. I thought when they got down by 5 to Michigan State with about 5 minutes left, that they were collapsing. We were going to see another North Carolina. They found a way to get through. Where do you stand on the Blue Devils? What are their chances against Texas Tech, and can they get out of the West region?
Here's my issue with Duke is that the problems that they exhibited against Michigan State are very real issues. Like they can turn it over. They can go on a really bad run out of nowhere, but at the same time, they're so offensively talented, they just find a way. That worries me against a team that they're going to play next in Texas Tech, because Texas Tech is so stinking tough. They spit nails. Like, these guys are so physically spit nails. You heard me. They are so physically gifted around the perimeter and so strong. I think that they're going to provide a different matchup than a lot of teams in the ACC have this year, just because of their physical strength. They're not the tallest team, but they might be the strongest team. And defensively, are they going to be able to score enough Texas Tech? I don't know, but I do know that Duke better tie their shoes up tight, because Texas Tech is going to bring it to them. Duke's good. They didn't show anything we didn't already know. Individually talented, really, really talented. That's about as far as that goes. Can Coach K get them over the finish line when it comes down to play calling time? And I know that might catch a lot of flack, but it's no secret that there's other guys that have done a better job this season. If you even look back at Virginia Tech in the finals of the ACC tournament, if he can get them over the finish line, if he can get a couple of extra possessions for Duke, I don't see how they lose. It's just a matter of, are they going to be tough enough physically to keep up with Texas Tech, who might break some bones in the process of getting to the Elite Eight?
Well, I think that Duke has a path, and if Jeremy Roach can give them what he gave them on Sunday, which is a big ask, but that's the season that we're in right now. Mm-hmm. We are in big ask season. You have got to answer the bell to win. Roach gave them a huge, huge boost late in the game. He came up with big-time plays all throughout the day, but really stepped up down the stretch, and that's the biggest thing we've been talking about with Duke all season long, is what are they getting on the perimeter? Well, they had guys in double figures. They achieved a level of balance. They put up 85 on Michigan State. Texas Tech had a lot of trouble scoring the basketball against Notre Dame, like a lot. There were stretches in that game. I never felt Texas Tech was going to lose that game, but because of their inability to score the ball at times, it was on the table. It was on the table. That was a very tight game at the under 4 timeout in the second half. And Texas Tech, you know how they scored the ball? Off of offensive rebounds. Mm-hmm. They were scoring. That's not going to happen as much against Duke. Mm-hmm. It happened against Notre Dame. That will not happen as much against Duke.
Yeah, they're going to have to force turnovers and get out in transition, I think.
Yes, I lean Texas Tech in this game because I think that they're just so tough defensively. And if they get McCullough and O'Banner going, Terrence Shannon Jr. gave them nothing yesterday. I mean, he only played 18 minutes. He only scored 3 points. Bryce Williams is a guy that they're counting on. They just don't have much going on from a backcourt perspective. I think this is going to be a great game. This is the most interesting Sweet 16 game to me. It's a toss-up game. But when we talk about the West region as a whole, do you guys honestly think that it's not Gonzaga coming out of the West? Because I can't see it. I think that they will be the West regional champions.
I think Arkansas, I think that they will be too. But this is a really, really difficult draw. Arkansas matches up really well with them for a couple of reasons. One, Jalen Williams can space the floor and pull whoever is guarding him away from the basket. I think you probably need to put Chet on him because, maybe you don't. I don't know how few is going to end up doing that, but Jalen Williams' ability to pull people away from the basket. He's tough and more physical than people realize, 6'10", 245. They have so many strong athletic wings. JD Notae can go and win a game by himself. And the one thing we know about Muss is he is an elite game planner. right? Like he can find a way to win one game and do something to take away what you do best. Teddy Buckets, he had 37 against UConn. He looked like the second coming of Steph Curry. I was ready for him to put Teddy Buckets and Harold the Show Arsenault in the same conversation in terms of dudes just went absolutely like full eruption. And he did nothing. He was a shell of what he was against UConn, against Arkansas. And that's because Muss basically said, anytime this dude puts the ball on the floor, we're sending the second guy at him. We're going to face guard him the entire game. He is not, we're going to let anyone else beat us. He is not going to beat us. And it worked. So that's a difficult matchup. I think that Duke, we've already seen Duke beat Gonzaga. So I think it comes down to whether or not Duke can get past Texas Tech. And I'll just say this, and I'm curious your guys' take on it. It felt like Duke exercised some demons against Michigan State, right? And what I mean by that is what happened against North Carolina was the moment got too big for them. I think they felt the pressure of being in Cameron with all of those people there, with everybody watching, with the moment of Coach K's last game in Cameron Indoor Stadium hanging over their head like a fucking anvil around their neck, right? And it kind of seemed like that was about to happen against Michigan State as well. It felt like that game was melting away. It felt like they were going to be too worried about it. But then Paolo Banchero was like, you know what? I'm 6'10". I'm 250 pounds and I'm the best athlete on the floor. Let me just go play bully ball and go get a bucket here real quick. Did that 3 straight times. Jeremy Roach came down and said, you know what? I'm Jeremy Roach. I'm the starting point guard for the Duke Blue Devils. Let me go over here and knock down a step back real quick. Put us up by 4 with about a minute and a half left. It felt like that was like a release. It felt like they got something off of their chest in that moment. Am I saying T.O.'s over there fired up? He's ready. He's got his fists are balled. He's ready to fight someone. No. Is that no. Am I crazy?
I don't think you're wrong. I think there's not going to be a game the rest of the year, Final Four national championship included, that's going to have the same amount of pressure that last Duke game at home did. So I think they have seen the absolute, the heaviest cloud that's going to be over those players has already passed. So when things are going to get tight, it's like, well, if we lose, it's just the end. Now, if they lost that game at home, well, we lost Coach K's last game. Now they've reached a point, they're in the second weekend, everything could buy, like Sweet 16. There's no shame in that. I know Duke has higher standards, but there's no shame in a Sweet 16 exit. There's no shame in an Elite Eight exit. You obviously want to win the national championship, but there's so many good teams this year. It's very plausible that it doesn't happen. But the fact of the matter is they have seen the immense amount of pressure from that last game at Cameron, and I feel like they've been able to take a deep breath. I think that's the biggest difference with them in this tournament and moving forward. Yeah.
You know what else? They are underdogs against Texas Tech. Texas Tech is favored by a point. Fanta, you mentioned that you think Gonzaga is the favorite out of this region. You think they're going to come through. Was there nothing that worried you about the Memphis performance, or was that just kind of that was their one shot where you thought that they were could get picked off?
Yeah, I think that Memphis is playing better basketball than Michigan State and was this past weekend. And their length was going to give Gonzaga. They matched up with Gonzaga. They met the fight. Credit to Penny Hardaway. He did a terrific job down the stretch this season, and Memphis guarded like they always have. And they were getting enough scoring. The transformation of Landers Nolley down the stretch for this team in the season changed the complexion of the group. So for me, I just think that was a Memphis team that was red hot, playing their best basketball at the right time. There was a level of unknown with them overall because you have this different star power with unique athletic ability. It kind of changes their ceiling. And I just thought that Gonzaga fought to find a way to win. And sometimes along the way, on your journey to win a national championship, you might not look back at the 4th or 5th rung of the 6-rung ladder. You might look back at the 1st or 2nd. Because Chris Beard said on our shows last week that the first win is always the hardest to get in the NCAA tournament. And in this case was the 2nd, but it was a situation for Gonzaga where they got tested and they found a way. I'm with T.O.'s point earlier of Duke won the game. They beat Michigan State. The flaws that are still there with this Duke team are present. They're not going away. And that's problematic because the competition is only going to get harder. Michigan State in a half-court offense this year really struggled. And late in the game, their offense was not good. Wasted trips, empty possessions. Duke's defense had something to do with it. Duke can beat Texas Tech. You don't think Gonzaga had that circle back when they lost in Las Vegas? They remember what happened. They will answer. And if they meet Duke, which I hope happens in a regional final, give me the Zags.
We're going to get into a region-by-region breakdown of the Sweet 16. But first, just want to let you know that today's episode of the DTF podcast is sponsored by Honey, which is the easiest way to save money when shopping on your phone or your computer. Have you ever been in this spot, guys? You're shopping for something online. You get to check out when it asks you for a promo code. You start Googling, trying to find some way to save a little bit of money. Thanks to Honey, manually searching for coupon codes is a thing of the past because Honey is the free tool that scours the internet for you and finds the best one that fits your cart. Here's how it works. You're shopping. You check out. The Honey button pops up. You click Apply Coupons. You wait a few seconds and you watch the price that you pay go down. I use Honey myself. I just bought my son all of his T-ball gear for the season over the weekend. And anyone that has kids, Fancy, you don't know about this yet. Tio, you definitely do, knows how expensive that stuff can get. But with Honey, I saved myself a cool $45. That's not bad. It was about 25% off the total. So it's free. It's so easy, and it works on a desktop. It works on a laptop. It works on an iPhone. All you have to do on your phone is just activate the tab on the Safari app. So if you don't already have Honey, you could be straight up missing out. By getting it, you'll be doing yourself a solid and supporting this show. I never recommend something that I don't use myself. So get Honey for free at joinhoney.com/March Madness. That's joinhoney.com/March Madness. The link will be in the description.